Bridget Delicato, and welcome to Mindful Gardening. It's mid-July here in Innisfil, Ontario, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing in my garden to get the most harvest out of plants I've been growing this season. I have beautiful basil growing right now, and some cherry tomatoes in the back. They are good companion plants. They actually help each other to improve flavor on both sides. I've already harvested some of this, and what you call it when you're harvesting basil is topping the basil. If I don't top the basil, which means removing the top few leaves, it will signal the plant to go into seed and essentially flower and not produce as many leaves, which we like to eat. That's something I want to do later in the season when I'm collecting seeds for next year. So I'm going to show you how to top them properly to encourage more leaf growth. What I'm looking for when I'm topping basil is you see these little groupings of leaves above these larger leaves. If I lift that up, you can see more leaves starting to grow here. So that's the spot I want to snip with my fingers. What will happen is these leaves will grow again into this little sort of floret. And that's what I'm going to be eating, and probably pesto. And again, what this also does is it promotes a more bushy plant. So you get less of that height and more of that bushy sort of plant shape, which actually gives you more leaves, more to harvest, more to eat. Go right down even to the bottom here. Now that's not to say you can't harvest some of these larger leaves, because, you know, that's a gorgeous leaf. You can do that as well. But again, you're wanting to promote more growth all over this plant. And you'll also notice back here, I've got another plant growing. This is Nasturtium, beautiful edible flower. You can eat the leaves and the flowers. They've not flowered yet. And what this is going to do, it's going to sprawl around here, keeping the soil cool. It's a good companion for these types of plants. It'll just kind of create this beautiful carpet, attract pollinators, which is always a good thing. Another way I can top these, instead of just grabbing this little floret here, I can come down further down the stem because I see these leaves growing here. So I'm going to actually snip this whole piece like that. And you can see again on this side, these will grow as well. So here I have Thai basil, which is a different variety. The basil I was topping was big green sweet basil, which is delicious as pestos. You can put it in sauce. Thai basil is wonderful in Asian cooking. So if you've ever had Thai cuisine, likely you've had fresh Thai basil on top. It almost has a licoricey type flavor. I do prefer the big leaf basil in my cooking. So that one I always want the most harvest. These I love too, but in smaller quantities. So I do let this one go to flower, as you can see. So what's happening is it's flowering, the bees love it, and seed pods are actually starting to develop as well. So if I didn't top my other basil, it would be at this stage as well. But these have gorgeous purple flowers. It's a wonderful addition to my garden for the pollinators, and I can harvest some leaves as well. Now I can still top some of this plant. As you can see, this one hasn't formed a flower yet. So I can snip here, and you can see little leaves starting to grow. So this will continue to leaf out and bush out as well. So I can still harvest this one, similar to the other plant. Here I am in my cherry tomato jungle. This is an indeterminate variety of tomato, which means it will continue growing like a vine as opposed to a bushy plant, as some tomatoes are. This is amethyst cream, which is originally an organic seed, and I've been growing it organically, so I'm excited to be growing this. And in order for me to focus on the fruit, as you can see there's some flowers here, in order to focus on fruit, we want to get rid of some of the leaves through pruning. And the best way to do that is to have a look at your plant. So I've got my sort of main stem here, but I can see up here this little sucker is what we call it, in sort of the armpit of the main stem and this leaf. So what I'm going to do is simply pinch it off. There's also a little leaf there. And what that's going to do is send more energy up to these flowers, which will create fruit. Now if I keep looking down this main stem, right in here, I see another little sucker. Again, I'm going to simply pinch. Got a couple of suckers, and I'm just going to keep doing that all the way down the plant until I've collected all of these suckers. And again, the height of this plant, I'm 5'4", and it's catching up. So as this grows, if more suckers appear even beside the fruit, I'm going to give them a little snip. I've done this at least, I'd say, 4 times this season. So I'm noticing that there is definitely more flowering and more fruiting, so it's working. Thanks for watching.